divided. U.S. Federal Reserve has cut interest rates for the third time this year on Wednesday, but signaled it may now pause. The Fed lowered interest rates by 25 basis points to a range of 3.5% to 3.75%, the lowest in nearly 3 years. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the central bank is well positioned to wait and see before making further moves, adding that the economy needs years of wages outpacing inflation for Americans to feel real relief.
Conditions in the labor market appear to be gradually cooling, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, in light of the balance of risks to employment and inflation, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a quarter percentage point. And also, I would note that having reduced our policy rate by 75 basis points since September and 175 basis points since last September, the Fed funds rate is now within a broad range of estimates of its neutral value, and we are well positioned to wait to see how the economy evolves.
And Fed Chair Jerome Powell also said on Wednesday that the Fed's recent overshoot of its 2% inflation target is mostly the result of President Donald Trump's import tax hikes. His remarks come as the Fed cut interest rates by 25 basis points but exposed a sharply divided American central bank with 3 dissenting votes, 2 arguing for no cut and 1 pushing for a bigger 50 basis point move.
If you get away from tariffs, inflation is in the low 2s, right? So it's really tariffs that's causing most of the inflation overshoot. And we do think of those as likely to, in the current situation, as likely to be a one-time price increase. Our job is to make sure that it is, and we will do that job. But right now, you've got this difficult balance, and there are risks to both sides. There's no risk-free path.
And expectedly, U.S. President Donald Trump has criticized the Federal Reserve's latest rate decision, saying the 25 basis point cut delivered on Wednesday was simply not enough. Speaking to reporters after Jerome Powell's announcement, Trump called the quarter-point move rather small and said the Fed should have done at least double that. He also argued that U.S. interest rates should be the lowest in the world, urging the central bank to move faster as economic uncertainty grows.
Interest rates are going down, except with him, not too much. He did a rather, I would say, a rather small number that could have been doubled, at least doubled. You know, I've wanted to say it, I do say it, I believe it, and we have to get a mindset that when a country is doing well, you don't want to kill the growth. That's what they're doing. They kill the growth. I don't know if you guys even agree with that. They kill the growth because they're so afraid of inflation. But you can have tremendous growth without inflation. Everything goes up with the growth, but that's not inflation. So I think we can do much better than traditional numbers.
And what Donald Trump said, notwithstanding, Wall Street closed higher on Wednesday after the Federal Reserve delivered a quarter-point rate cut as expected. Investors are betting more easing will follow, even as the Fed signaled it will pause further cuts for now. Take a quick look.
U.S. stocks ended higher on Wednesday, with the Dow climbing 1%, the S&P 500 adding about 0.2%, and the Nasdaq adding 0.33%. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates by a quarter percentage point on Wednesday, as expected. The market had been muted ahead of the Fed decision as investors, while widely expecting the cut, were concerned the central bank would take a more hawkish tone on its policy outlook. Nancy Tengler, CEO and Chief Investment Officer of Laffer Tengler Investments, said that given the impending release of key data, including next week's non-farm payrolls report for November, investors should be wary of watching every twist and turn of Wall Street's main indexes.
We'll have to see, how this all plays out over the ensuing weeks. And then next week, we're going to get a lot of data. So we'll be able to determine if the Fed is right or wrong in cutting the 25 basis points. So I would watch the market over the next week or two as opposed to intraday.
The rate-sensitive small-cap Russell 2000 index outperformed large caps with a 1.3% gain to close at a record high. Among the S&P 500's 11 major industry sectors, all but 2 showed gains. Industrials advanced the most, closing up 1.8%. Its biggest boost was from energy equipment manufacturer GE Vernova, which surged more than 15.5% after forecasting higher revenue in 2026, signaling strong demand for its AI-related infrastructure. In other AI-related stock news, shares of Oracle plunged more than 10% in extended trading after the company missed a slew of Wall Street estimates for sales, operating profit, and future cloud computing contract growth, a sign that corporate spending on its cloud services may be cooling amid broader concerns of an AI bubble.